It's about 8 p.m. after a long and tiring day. You were meant to do some studying for some big exam coming up soon, but understandably some things got in the way. Maybe you procrastinated a little and you just didn't study much. So you decide to message your friend to hop on call tonight and let's just smash out some studying together. You both get motivated, and then around 10 p.m. you actually hop on call finally, and you begin to start studying on Discord, and you're going for a few more minutes, and then you soon realize that this is really suboptimal. You're so tired because it's like 10, 11 p.m. that you don't even know what you're studying, and you're getting distracted non-stop because you're literally on a voice call with your friend expecting to get a good amount of studying done, which is completely suboptimal. So one of two things happens. Either your friend also realizes that he's tired and he doesn't feel like studying, and you remain on call for the next 3 hours playing Valorant or something, or you realize you're tired, so you hop off call, but because you were so prepared to stay up tonight for God knows how long, you end up staying up anyways, and you consume mindless content for the next 2-3 hours, and you end up sleeping at like 2 a.m. and you didn't do any work. So you weren't able to do any work during the day, and then when you told yourself you'd do work, you were just so tired that you couldn't. So tomorrow you wake up late and you miss budget and you repeat the same cycle all over again, except now you have 24 hours less towards the exam. So without even explaining my point, I'm sure you already understand what I'm talking about. You see, I tried a bunch of different study methods and all these different techniques when I was completing my final exams for school, which are called the HSC over here. These were one of the hardest exams we were supposed to do. So of course I tried different methods. Specifically, I tried something called the Pomodoro method, which you've probably heard of, which is 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. And honestly, I did get some work done, but I would have gotten so much more done if I knew about this technique, and it is called deep work. The concept of deep work is actually quite simple. Think of deep work as short as 45 minutes up to 3 hours or however long of completely focused work with zero distractions, zero music, zero interruptions, zero thoughts towards anything else, just pure focus on the task. I'd kind of like to think of it as like survival instinct for the early human, because if you visualize the early human who needed to hunt early in the morning for his family because they hadn't eaten in 2 days, do you think he could be distracted? All he was thinking about was the target and perfecting his shot so that his family could eat. Or the athlete who needs to score a game-winning shot in the last few minutes of the game, unwavering focus. So how do you even apply this to your studying or your morning work? Well, for me, it was a little difficult to start as well. I remember one morning about only a year ago, I'd already tried to do this morning wake-up routine and try to do my work in the morning, but I wasn't having much success with it because I was doing some things wrong. But one time I remember I had woken up earlier than usual, around 7:30 a.m. And normally at this time I would make breakfast and then do my work. But what had happened was that it was so busy in my house in the morning that I couldn't go in the kitchen and make breakfast around this time. So what I decided to do was just do the work anyways, because this exam, or I don't remember if it was an assignment or what it was so hard and it was taking up so much of my time that I couldn't bear to lose another 2 hours or something. So I decided to start working. I looked at the lecture notes and I started to just note it down. And to my surprise, I just kept going. I was frustrated at the start, but somehow I turned that frustration into work. And I was focused for so long compared to how I normally studied. So realistically, I only focused for like maybe 50 minutes. But that 50 minutes of work was so much better than any of the work I'd done the previous week. And since then, I have been hooked to deep work. I've never turned away to any other deep study method. I've never turned away to any other study method or Pomodoro or anything like that. I just use deep work. And once I've eaten, I continue to do some shallow tasks in the morning. So how can you make your deep work deep? Well, here's an actionable step for you. I'm sure there's some tasks that you need to get done nowadays. Tomorrow, I want you to make that task the priority. And this has to be the hardest task of the day, that one task that I know you don't want to do. I want you to do that first thing in the morning, right after praying Fajr. So I want you to wake up, pray Fajr, and go straight to that task. Preserve your brain cells. Don't check your phone. Don't even talk to anyone if you can, which I know sounds a little bit rude, but all you're doing is preserving your brain cells for this task. I want you to do this for at least a few days. It may or may not work in the first morning, but it will most definitely eventually become a very strong habit of yours. On the first day, once you've done that 30 or so minutes of deep work, I want you to come back to this video and comment below how you went and if you would recommend it to anyone else. Now, here's an important note. If you're a student who's going to be using deep work to study new content, I wouldn't recommend watching a lecture, as this is kind of passive and you tend to just start doing something else when you're watching a lecture. At least I do, because I have that sort of distracted mind all the time. Instead, I would recommend deep work to be a point where you're taking down notes, where you're actively learning. Maybe you're looking at the lecture slides and you're just noting down whatever you see and putting it into your own words. That would qualify as deep work in my opinion. Not really just watching some other guy talk for 2 hours and saying, oh, that was my deep work. No, it really wasn't. So I would say just try doing that instead. Or if you want, just get ChatGPT to teach you. I can't believe more people don't do this. Just ask ChatGPT to teach you a topic. Ask it questions like you would ask a tutor. It works. It really does teach you all that stuff. One more example. For me, similarly for YouTube, deep work would qualify as what I'm doing right now, or scripting videos. That would qualify as deep work because that's the hardest part of making YouTube videos. Stuff like editing, changing my profile picture, replying to YouTube comments, although it seems important, isn't deep work. So that's just another example for you. If you feel like you're going to struggle with deep work and you need someone to hold you accountable, I'm working on building a free community for you again, where there's going to be plenty of other people who can help you out with this task of deep work or any other thing that you struggle with. If you found this concept of deep work valuable or interesting even, do me a favor by liking this video and sharing it to someone who you think might actually benefit from the concept of deep work as well. I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.